Welcome to Philosophy, Intro to Philosophy, everyone. I'm Dr. Oganesian. I'm going to be your professor for this class. You guys can just call me Dr. O as we spend the next 5 weeks together. My recommendation for how this class is going to be run is that you enter into the class every day. I know a lot of you work or a lot of you have families, but even for 5 to 10 minutes every day, going and looking into the class and seeing the discussion posts and those things will make sure that you keep with the flow of the class. So that's a recommendation for the class. Along with that is we're going to be looking, or our time together, we're going to have what's called the fireside lectures. I got this idea from Franklin Roosevelt during World War II. He, of course, gave his famous fireside chats to keep people up to date about what is going on with the war, World War II at the time. And we're going to do the same here. We're going to have fireside lectures. So throughout the 5 weeks that we will be up to date together throughout the whole thing, we'll be covering I'll be giving you lectures on the material that you're supposed to be reading and thinking through. With that said, let's dive in. So we're intro to philosophy. That begs the question, what is philosophy? Well, philosophy's etymology means philo, meaning love, sophia, meaning wisdom. So philosophy means love of wisdom. You're like, oh, I love wisdom. Am I a philosopher? Yes, you are. Congratulations. I know sometimes as a professional philosopher, you tell people, oh, you're a philosopher. They think something like, oh, you just hang out in cafes all day and you talk to people about the meaning of life and all that. In some ways, that's true, but philosophy is actually quite deeper than that. Philosophy is giving us our structures in our minds and our thoughts to think through what is life, where does life come from, what is what is the purpose of this world, and all those things. And actually, throughout this class, when you do philosophy, you're going to gain the tools in order to see presuppositions of others and other people's thinkings and worldview. Everyone has what we would call their own philosophy worldview. They have their way of seeing the world themselves. You have one, I have one, everyone has one. It's inescapable. But understanding philosophy, understanding how the mind works, understanding how ethics works, understanding what metaphysics is, allows us to see just what is undergirding those worldviews and those philosophies. So, even though you'll hopefully have better coffee shop talks, philosophy is much more than that. For this class, we're going to say philosophy is a triangle. My favorite geometric shape is triangles. So we'll see those a lot throughout the class. So philosophy is a triangle. That triangle has three sides. The sides are epistemology, metaphysics, and ethics. Epistemology, metaphysics, and ethics. Starting the way we're going to go through it. Ethics is what makes something right or wrong, what makes something good or bad. Metaphysics is what do you think is actually out there, and we'll talk about that some more in a little bit. And epistemology is how do you know what you know? So those three things, those three branches or those three sides create a philosophy. Every time you have a philosophy, you have all three of those. You have a metaphysics, you have an epistemology, you have a metaethics. In fact, when you make a claim in one of the three, as we'll see, you have to make a claim in the other two. They come naturally. So philosophy is a triangle. That triangle is epistemology, metaphysics, and ethics. So going through the triangle, the first side is what is ethics? And as I told you, favorite geometric shape is a triangle. Ethics is, as we said, what is right and wrong, good or bad. And itself, ethics has three sides. These are usually understood as the three schools of ethics, but as we'll see, actually one naturally uses all three of them, always. So those three schools or the three sides of ethics is teleological, existential, or deontological. If you're still like, what is ethics? What makes something right or wrong? You're trying to figure that out. Like, what are you talking about? The best way to do it, the best way to see it is thinking through a famous ethical problem. That ethical problem is called the trolley dilemma or the trolley problem. And that problem goes something like this. You're a trolley operator, you have the switch to make train tracks go from left to right, left to right. There is somebody on the track there's someone on the left track. The train is going to go towards the right track, but there's a lot of people on the right track. So if you flip the switch, you save all those people's lives. Let's say there's 40 of them. You save those 40 people's lives, but you destine that one person to die. Save the 40 people, but you destine the one person to die. Would you pull the switch? Would you do that? Well, based on you doing that, you're using your ethics to make that decision. You're deciding what makes something right or wrong, or what makes an action good or bad. And based on that, you're switching it. If you have a teleological ethic, which means it's end, telos, meaning end or goal. If your ethics are based on the goal, you would say something like, by pulling this lever, I net save 39 people. So the telos, the end of it, what we would call the result of the action, defines whether it's good or bad. That's what teleological ethics is. If you think to yourself, by me pulling the lever, I am killing someone, my action is killing someone, and I'm never supposed to kill someone, that's deontological ethics. That no matter what you do, let's say the 10 Commandments are a famous example of deontological ethics. No matter what the situation is, no matter what the result is going to be, the action is always right or wrong. So you think of the 10 Commandments, you think of the 6th commandment, which is, of course, thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not take innocent life. That is right and wrong, no matter the situation, no matter the result. So you think about the trolley problem. If you're taking an innocent life by pulling the lever, no matter the result, if you hold to that deontological ethical system, makes it right or wrong. Existential ethics is thinking through, what does this mean? What does this action mean for my person, for my existence? Am I the kind of guy who pulls the lever? So that's the triangle. As we go through ethics and we think through it, you'll see actually one of those leads to the other. Think about if you're thinking through the 10 Commandments again, you can say, I follow the 10 Commandments. If you're thinking through a Christian worldview, because I'm a Christian, follow the 10 Commandments because existentially, my identity is Christian, and my goal is to bring glory to God. So you see how all three of them work. I do this deontological act because I am this kind of person, and being this kind of person, doing these deontological acts, I have these teleological rules. All right, that is the triangle again for your view. Again, once you make one or the other, let's go through it one more time just so I know that you guys have it. Deontological is what we would call duty-based ethics. So whatever my duty is, that's what makes it right or wrong, absent of result. So you can think of the act in a vacuum. That act in the vacuum is how you're deciding it. Teleological ethics, coming from the Greek word telos, end or goal, is the result defines whether it's good or bad. I have saved 39 people. Therefore, this act was good. Existential is based on my own identity. Who am I as a person? I am the Therefore, A always does this. Try to think of another example. I am a father. It's my existential identity. As a father, I love my children. See how my identity is deciding how my acts are going to be.